work, do you, how much money do you take up front before you start the work? 50%, okay. And then when you finish the job, you get the remaining part. And how long does work normally take? Yeah. I realise that. Heard that before. A week to a month, right. So if you're a smaller business and you're on a 50-50 like that and you get a few jobs all of a sudden that take a month, what happens to your cash flow? It gets lumpy, doesn't it? So one of the strategies here, the number 2, is it's bill 50% up front, 50% on delivery, but I actually talk about, because each of these I do a video of these, and each of them I go, here's 3 very specific actions to do. So what I would suggest, like with a builder, how many installments do you guys do? Depends, obviously. Yeah, that's right. Yep, that's right. Yeah, well, you're going tonight. Well, I'll talk to you about that because I've been sorting that out with this builder, so I'll help you with that. But what I want you to do is maybe look at staging instead of 2 stages to fix the lumps. How could you break the job up into 3, or 4? So 25, 25, 25, 25. So if it's a bigger job, so give yourself a scale and say, well, okay, if it's over $1,000 or over $2,000 or whatever it is, I don't know your business, yeah. If it's over a certain amount, put it into your 25, 25, 25. Does that make sense? Correct, and match it to milestones. What happens to his lumpy cash flow then? Evens heaps out. Does he get the same amount of money? Yeah, he does. Yeah. So have a look at that. But have a look. So one of the actions that I've got here in this is, get your last 10 jobs. Like, go and have a look at your last 10 jobs, and imagine, look at what your cash flow would look like if you split that into 4 versus the 50-50. Yeah. And sometimes when you do 50-50, your margins will be. Not many people will quote on 50% margin. They'll have like a 20% margin. So what that really means is that if you're 50% in the front, 50% in the back, if they don't pay that back end, you're 20 to 30% down. Your expenses, you've already paid them, and you don't recover them because you haven't got it, yeah? So I like to have all my expenses covered before I finish the job. Who thinks that's a good idea? So if I am actually going to have to chase the debt, if I'm silly enough to give them trading turns, okay, and if it gets to a really horrible situation, which I personally haven't had, but I do know clients who have, where I've got to chase the money and I've then got to write it off, I've written off a part of my profit, not money that was my expenditure and all my profit. Does that make sense? So I just talk about that in that video and how that, in that one of those videos were there. Ensure a letter of engagement or contract clearly states it. So you do that, do you? Yep. So just talk about that. And communicate the terms with your team. So do your younger fella, he's the... Cool. So what it talks about here is he may do that now, but he probably grow in the business as you grow. Teach him now. Okay? I'll just teach you something quickly. Yeah, Stevie might have taught you this stuff, but really I just want to use his paper. Not really, mate. Do you guys know about the 4 stages of learning? You do? Oh, you do? Anybody else? Yes or no? Because all you have to do is like this, or like this, or just say something. You're all going like this. Cool. You know what? I reckon that should be compulsory. I reckon it should be 4 o'clock frothy time. So the last hour of presentation, we're all having frothies. Who thinks that's a good idea? So that's a bit of feed. Put that on the feedback form. Oh, sorry, all wine. Frothies include wine. Yeah. Sign the paper. Over here. Okay. So 4 stages of learning, okay? So let me teach, and this is really important because this is about, for you, for Black Bear, yeah, creative. why you need to teach your young fella now, okay? So there's 4 stages, okay? Goes like this. And this happens for everything in life. Let's talk about it from if you're learning how to drive a car, okay? As a 2-year-old, you don't even know that there's a thing of driving a car, yeah? So you are what we call unconscious, incompetent. Do you know this one now? Yeah? So you don't know what you don't know. Here, when you get to about 7 years old, well, yeah, if you live on a farm, it's about 4. But my 7-year-old can drive. But when you go on to 7, you know, Daddy lets you put your child on your lap and you let them steer, and they realise that Daddy's still doing that, but they realise now they don't know how to drive a car, that there actually is a skill set, but now they know they don't know how to do it. Does that make sense? So that's called, now they're conscious that they don't know, that they are incompetent. Okay? Then we get to about 16 and we go and do those dreaded driving lessons and you feel like a knucklehead and all that sort of gear. I still remember my first one and my girlfriend was in the back of the car at the time. Oh, God, did I feel like a knucklehead. But when you start to learn how to drive, you then become conscious competent. And you're very mechanical. Remember when you learn to drive the manual car? And you're thinking about, oh, that's right, is it clutch in? You know, and it's all that sort of gear. You're having to think about what you're doing as you're developing the skill. And then you get to a point now when you're driving down the highway, you know, you're doing your makeup and eating, you finish a bit of your breakfast and you're still driving the car and you're talking on the phone all at the same time. You're now at a place called unconscious competence, okay? The challenge I've found over the last few years, because with the systems design course, I do a day where I can take a whole business through how to systemize a business and set up your leadership team and get everyone on the same page. It's really cool. What I've noticed then, because I then follow up, I then go there once a quarter for 3 times. So for 12 months, I help them systemize their business. And what I've found is that the younger people in a business who are here write the best systems because they're thinking about it. You guys who are great at what you do, okay, so you're great at the delivery part of your business, okay, where are you on this? Where are you? You're up here. You just do it without thinking. You change gears without even thinking, okay? You're doing things in your business without even thinking. Try and write a system and train someone young when you're at that stage. It's tough. That's why I say record yourself. So you're a young fella now, okay? So he's probably here. You're probably, in there because you're only a newbie business, yeah? So start here with your and bring this guy along as your tester. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to anybody here? Okay? If you don't want to work long hours, if you want to get some time back, if you want to actually have some holidays, take note of what I just said, because that's the winning formula. So, sorry, is that what you teach that, Steve? Or I haven't done the wrong thing there? Right. It's just smarty pants is out the front. Yeah, I've done everything. Right, good. Okay, what do I have there? Oh, yeah. Well, we're talking about the 31 secrets, aren't we? Yep, right here. Okay, so Justin, does that help, mate? Okay, so doing the right thing, hone in, but maybe look at that 25 as opposed to 50. Segment it, proposal it up. The guy I got I'm helping today on the 90-day cash challenge, he's a filmer. And so he does build the concept, does the filming, and then does the post-production, the editing. So creative like you and scopes it out. And yeah, so it's going to be cool. So I understand a little bit about it. Okay, Christine, where's Reiki? Reiki Queen. Yep. You okay for me to help you here? You sure? Come on, you beautiful creature. Rightio. So you're only new with your Reiki business? Yep. Yep. Yeah, but your skills are high, but where the business is at is low. That's right, yeah. So when I was looking at that and looking at some of your numbers, one of the secret number 5 is the one I thought could be something for you to think about that might help your cash. that you could focus in on your 2 hours. Yeah? And so what that is have your clients pay in advance for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, so they can go on programs. Now, yep, that's right, yep. Yeah, that's similar because that's what the second action that I talk about in the video and in the guide is, create 3 different packages. Okay, so that's what you've done. Bronze, silver, I'll have a gold. Yep. Okay. So, so obviously if they pay, so what I'm really suggesting is that if they could, like the third action here is look to when you launch that offering to your clients. So try and angle your launches for your type of business just before Christmas. So ramp up. So what are your 6 steps again, Stevie? It's the idea. Okay, so the idea, plan, create. Okay, so taking that model, idea, create, plan happens in October. Launch it in November. Because what do people want to do? They're looking for gifts for business, aren't they? Okay, so you've got clients already in your clientele. What I want you to do is start getting a little bit proactive with it. It's your business, it's your rules. And start offering some of those packages and look at it there. Another thing is Mother's Day. Do the same thing before that. Valentine's Day, end of financial year, businesses, okay? Reiki is a very powerful thing to do, yeah? Fantastic. Yep. It's secret. She's not going to tell us. Yeah? No, it's all right. You do. Keep a secret for now. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Okay. Right. So good. You're already getting creative. You're already thinking ahead. So, but what I want you to do. So the first action, I want you to work out the difference it would make if people did pay 3 months in advance. In your projected, so you're about to do your projected business cash flows. Yeah. Okay. I want you to put in there a projection of what it would look like if people started paying in advance, because that will give you that confidence. Because what's king? What's king? What's clean? Cash, okay? Confidence always comes from, it's hard to make cash. It's hard to really grow that platform to go from really low to high without that confidence, okay? So little wins, and if you can see it happening in the cash flow and you're going through this program and the like with Steve, then you're going to build those things. You can see it happening, the motivation, the carrot's there. You start to get some traction, and you start to look at how you position people paying it in bundles. So how do you communicate that? What are you going to say? That's the third action in this secret, is what is the things you need to say to make that enticing or incentivizing, okay? That's the little detail that people often forget and why we don't sell it. It's how you communicate and where you come from. So have a think about that, Christine. And if anyone's interested in Reiki, we'll go and see Christine at the end. Yeah. Yeah, come from your heart. Yeah. So your head doesn't. When we do sales, it's 80% through the heart and 20% is the logify, justify. So have a play with that. I need to move on to Heather. Where's Heather? Oh, kiss me, baby, kiss me, baby. Rightio. So, and I'm actually what's your name? Yep. Pete and Patty and yep and yeah. Okay. So I'm going to talk to both of you guys, accountants. Okay. So I know you're a bookkeeper and accountant, so Jenny, this also applies to you. So I'm actually speaking to 4 of you, but it actually will apply to a lot of you, okay? Secret number 8. This is the one that accountants go, and I help them do it. Because unfortunately in their industry, they actually think that debtors is a trophy. Yeah. It's half of their lockup, isn't it? Your debtors and your whip, and you put those together, that's your lockup. And if it's really high, yeah, we've got $1 million lockup. You're an idiot. You're playing a bank. That's ridiculous, okay? So this is a more aggressive strategy. There are other lighter strategies or secrets in here. But no, secret number 8 is shut down your client account, stop doing your work until you get the payment for what you are owed before releasing any further products or services. And I typically get the response, hey, already do that to everybody? Oh, no, not to my big clients. No way. Why not? Do you think that's a good strategy or not, everybody? Yes or no? No? Okay. These strategies that I'm sharing, okay, and I go into more detail in the videos and the like, okay, what you've got to understand is that all this communication that you do, okay, be really, really important. If you've got cash problems right now, and you've got financial issues, it's because you trained them that way. You trained them that way. Not necessarily. I personally, I don't, like, one thing that I get offended by is when people who've got big, I know some operators who they'll charge X amount for a service. They'll charge for the same service X amount because they're bigger business. And they go, well, what, so we're going to be like the government and punish you because you've done well? That's ridiculous. Okay, so I like to treat big and small pretty much the same. Well, at least the same principles. Okay, I'll be more tender with certain people, but you train them. So what I'm talking about and what these secrets are about, these are practical ways to actually, you need to get in the mindset of retraining your clients. Retraining you. Because why do you tolerate this? Go. Yep. Yep. Good. Yeah. Yeah. One of the things I've done, because for the last 8 years, I've just pretty much done accounting firms. Only last year, year and a bit, I've started doing trades and retail and any sort of businesses. But with accountants, it's really interesting because I've had a couple of them, I was really surprised, and they had overdrafts. You know, $400,000 or $500,000 overdrafts as an accountant. I'm thinking, shit, you've already got all your clients. You're just farming. You don't have to go and hunt. You just got to farm the clients you got. And they got overdrafts. And the saddest thing, the second saddest thing I realise is that accountants don't do cash flows. They don't think they need to. They're an accountant. They already know it all. Well, why you got an overdraft for, dickhead? That's 20% of interest you're paying. You know, why are you letting all your clients pay you late and your money sitting in their account? How is that smart? And so what Teach It Forward, my company is about, is teaching them to actually be congruent, because I've actually only got 3 rules in the way I do business. And I care, and I'm congruent, and I'm curious. So when I say I care, it doesn't mean I'm going to give you cuddle and kiss. What it means is I'm going to ask you the questions that you don't ask yourself, that you're afraid to ask. When I say congruent, I'll never ask you to do anything that I haven't done or am in the process of doing. And when I say I'm curious, is I don't know everything about your business. You know your business better than anybody else. So I've got to ask you more, two times the amount of questions than I make statements. Does that make sense? And what I found to be true is that they're really good rules that a lot of my clients have taken on in the way they deal with their clients. So be very clear on that. So stop working with clients if they're not paying with you. So builders, for example, don't go to that next stage. Don't keep incurring more expenses. Just stop. And why don't people stop for? Do you know why? They may not have multiple jobs and they're paying guys and they go, I'll just keep them going. No, don't do that. Stop. Go and get more work, okay? Which is what I've taught them how to do. But why don't people stop clients? They're afraid they're going to lose the client. What else? They don't value what they're doing, absolutely. Both things are awesome, but there's one critical thing that underlies what you ladies have just said. Say again? Absolutely, they lack confidence, but they lack confidence in what? This is the distinction I need you to hear. In their ability to do what? That's it, Tommy. The reason why people don't install this action is because they don't have confidence of what to say and how to say it without ruining the relationship. And what I teach you how to do is how to go and have that conversation and make the relationship better. So I had a client and I didn't realise there was a little invoice that one of my guys sent out. I didn't even know it went out. And then I saw it in my cash flow. What the hell's going on? That's late. I never have debtors. And I knew who the client was, little Alicia. So I sent a little text. I sent her this text saying, pay the freaking bill. It didn't say that, but it said it in the way I teach it. And she comes back. This is no lie. She comes back. She goes, that's a lovely way to ask for me to pay the bill. I'm going to use that. I'll pay it tomorrow. And I go, wow, isn't it interesting? So once you know how to say, what to say and how to say it, and you're happy to do that, you will stop people walking over you. You will stop them doing that. You'll have more cash in your bank straight away. Therefore, your confidence will feel awesome. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yep. Yep. Absolutely, yeah. So I've been on the other side of the fence too when I had lots of people I owed, and when we got ourselves in trouble back in 2008, we owed stupid amounts and we weren't making the cash flow. That's why we only paid ourselves so little. And I had this traffic light system. You know, red, green, or amber, green. And the red were people that if I didn't pay them or at least contribute to them at the time, they could shut me down. And I just worked away and did little payments and the like. So there's plenty of different strategies. But the main point I want you to get today, guys, is that focus, if you're going to, in your 2 hours, if you just dedicate 2 hours, okay? And it is finance time, okay? But I want you to be thinking through your director leadership point of view, okay? It's about retraining your clients. It's about communicating. It's about focusing on cash, okay? Don't pay the bills. Pay people to do that stuff. Don't pay invoices. So Dicko uses Voxer to send messages out to his VAs and the like. And all I do is when I got an invoice, I just quick email or quick call and go bang, and then the invoice. So the invoices all would have happened and cash probably is in the bank right now and I haven't done anything. I'm actually here. So you set up that system. Does this make sense? Does this help? Yeah. Yeah, well, you can. I mean, you can set them up automatically to happen on direct debit. So I got a lot of the bills, take that option and just take it away. So my bookkeeper used to send me a bill every month. That means I got to get it. I got to play it on my phone, go on NetBank, do it. Stuff that. Give me a direct debit form. Let me sort that out. Okay. The kid I was talking to today, they're only a new business. They don't have much cash, and he's generated 22 leads in the last 6 weeks. He's converted 3. He's got 6 pending. That means he's already lost 12 or 13. I said, why is that? Have you gone back and called him? He said, yeah, I have. What'd you come up with? And they go, it was just too expensive. I deal with one of these small, this is the film guy. Too expensive. I said, well, did you offer him a payment plan? I said, nah, didn't do that. And I go, okay, well, maybe you should. And he goes, well, we're actually just in the process of about to do that. And I said, and who's funding? Because if you do the work and they get over 3 months and they pay over 9 months, Who's funding that 6 months? And what's your answer? It's you. And I said to him, do you know about, there are actually finance companies, so like Smart Fee, those sorts of companies in the accounting industry. I know of companies like that. They'll take the debt on and they'll take a small, very small percentage and you get your money up front. He goes, I didn't know about that. I said, there you go. Very quickly you can get full payment for your little services. Happy days. The risk goes away from you. Who thinks that's a good idea? I'd write it down. So there are so many different little options and different ways to think about it. And that's why I just thought, well, I'm going to try and bloody capture all the ones that have worked and put them in there. And if it's something you want to do, go and have a look. Oh, with Smart Fee. I don't know if is that accounting based? Certegy. How do you spell that? Yeah. Okay. Certegy. So if that's relevant to anybody, have a look at that. Do you know any other, mate? No. Who? Lawn. Thorn. Like the two thorns over here? Yeah, right. Factor debtors, yeah. So have a look at those options, because why not get paid in advance, and then, because what happens at the point of transaction when you're selling that client, okay, you're doing all your normal process. It's just another form they just sign, and then you submit it for them, and it's taken care of, and then the cash comes in your bank. Who thinks that's a good idea? I think that's a great idea. So have a crack at it. Okay, so we're going to close off, and I know Steve. This one? 31-secrets? There's no dot at the end, no. There's bit.ly/31-secrets. You got it? It works? All right, exactly? Rightio, cool. Yeah, I normally do that for $4.97, but for you guys, for Steve, it's $2.97 now. I spoke to Steve and I said, look, what do you want me to do? Helping these guys. Steve's helping you, doing amazing things. I'm not here to sell and take any clients or anything like that, but I really just help with the cash. I'll only just focus in the cash. So some people, they don't want those strategies. They don't want to know that stuff. They just want to actually say, well, where should I look at, and can you do some of that stuff with me, Trent? So I just said to Steve, well, I'll do a 30-minute call with anyone who wants to have a chat to me from today. So you can just put in bit.ly/TIF call, as in teach it forward, TIFCALL, and it's an automatic booking system. So you don't need to talk to them, you'll just book in. There'll be a little questionnaire come through, fill it in, and then, I'll be on that phone at that time. I'll call you at that time and we'll have a chat where you're at. No, you don't have to do it today. You can do it tomorrow and do it next week. And you don't even have to do it. It's just if you want to have a chat, if you want me to have a look at your business or whatever from a financial point of view, happy to do that, because Steve's been kind enough to bring me up. So I thought, well, there you go. I'm not real good at doing the selling stuff. So I think with that 31 secrets, I hope you do get it through, because that's the baseline that I use in one of my other things. And people, when they use those, on average so far, they're generating 10 to 30K by just picking up 5 secrets that are relevant to them. So Steve said, $4.97. I said, no, I'll just put it down to $2.97. So it's pretty, you'll only need to put one secret in, just one of the actions, and you'll get it back. So it's up to you. So we're going to have Q&A, mate, or Steve, he's the boss. The psychology behind it is for memory. Yeah, so that's the way I've interpreted it, and that's the way I use it. It's easier to remember. So it's really funny. Can I share one quick story? When I teach people about sales and the like, and they say, and you finish the appointment, and I say, hey, you've got to call them back. I say, you say to them they've got to call you back at a set time, or you call them back at a set time. And I go, but don't make it like 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock. I go, say you'll call them at 3:57 or 11:57. Yeah, well, whatever, it's bloody stupid or wanker or whatever, right? This is a true story. This is exactly what we do, right? And it's amazing. It's amazing that when I said I'll call 11:57, people remember that. That's not a time they normally remember. So psychologically, they're actually waiting for it. And I've called people at that time, and they go, a minute late, a minute early. But I'm going, you remembered me. You know? And so that's a very powerful way to do it. And I had a guy, an Ando over in South Australia, I worked with him probably about 8 years ago, a big-time accountant, and like I'm a big player. He's a champion bloke. He had heart problems, had a marriage split, and he went off the radar, and he's a good mate of mine. I was trying to call him, couldn't get hold of him. Last time I spoke to him, he said he was going to have a heart transplant. I thought, oh, shit. Couldn't get hold of him. I thought he actually died. It was only about 6 months ago I took his phone number out of my phone, and I thought, I don't want to have that as a reminder because Ando's a beautiful man. I get it. This is no lies. Monday night, I get this Facebook messenger from Ian Anderson, his name is. He's going, mate, I've recovered. I'm okay. Blah, blah. Would you be my mate again? I'm really sorry. I dropped off the place. Blah, blah. And I went, yeah. Oh, can't believe you're alive. Anyhow, he says, we won't talk tonight. I'll call you in the morning. I said, yeah, no worries. Before 9's pretty good for me, mate. And this is one of the guys I taught this. And he goes, cool. I'll call you at 8:33, which was 8:03 in South Australian time. And he called me. I swear to God, it was 8:33. He still remembered that lesson after 8 years. So it is a good little strategy. Yeah, it's obviously, again, the way you do it, but it creates memory. So, it's $2.97. If you want to make it $300, mate, go for your life. $2.90, whatever, mate. It's not about the money. It's about, I don't pay the mortgage over it. Huh? It's about the cash, exactly. God, Az, you're a beautiful creature. You want to...
Righto, guys. What about a round of applause for Trent Taylor? Awesome, mate. Well done. So, let's ask some questions before Trent leaves. Has anybody got any sort of questions they want to throw at him? Or things that you enjoyed from that session? Whole thing was good? Anything in particular?
Breaking the board. Yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah, that's going to cost. You're going to need $300 to fix your board up. Yep. Yeah, just having a plan in place to do it.
Can I just say that, did you notice that when I talked to the three people and I gave them exact actions to do, how many of those were finance geeky related? None of them. They're all about how to talk to people. See, in your finance time, if you hate finance, that's fine. Okay, don't worry about that. But you've got to learn how to read what's going on. So you go, oh, shit, I better fix this. But the difference between where your cash is in your bank or not now, it's only because you're not communicating. You're not confident enough. So that's all it is. And you don't understand it's your business, that you make the rules. So
it's also got to do with your relationship with money as well.
Absolutely, it does.
It's cash. You got to love that stuff. Yeah. Rita.
Do you want to ask the second one? Stop it. Yeah, so when I set up my cash flows, I just use a basic Excel. I just teach in an Excel because everyone can use it. So when you're projecting the stuff forward that you don't know, but that's when it's due, I have that font red. So it's red numbers, okay? Because it's out, it's blood, yeah? When I reconcile, when it's actually come into the bank account, the stuff that's actually come in is black, right? So when I look at the cash flow visually, it's very clear what's come in and what hasn't. I can see it. So if I'm in this week, okay, another thing to do is set up your weeks not according to the Monday date, but set them up each month. Put it the 1st to the 8th, or 1st to the 7th, 8th to the 14th, 15th. So have your week beginning at the top columns. And keep that standard, like 1st, 8th, 15th, 22nd, 29th, because it'll cover you in leap years, it'll cover you in different months. But you don't know what that number is, but if that $1,000 due on Wednesday and you're in the next week, what's that telling you? It's late, okay? So you pick that number up and drag it into that week. In your finance time, you get on the blower and have a conversation to find out what's going on with it. Now, that builder that I have, they go, well, we don't know what work we're going to be getting, blah, blah, blah. But see, your history tells you stories. So if you, like my cash flow, I've been doing cash flows for, I think, 8 years straight. I've got 8 years of history. No year's the same, I do have clients that last for lots of years. I can't kick the bloody accountants, but, I have other booms and boosts. So, but history tells you trends. Business is about trends. And that's right. Correct. All of our businesses have seasons. There is a summer. You'll have a 2-3 month window where you're hot every year and it'll just move slightly. And if you actually know your numbers, you can see it. It's predictable. How do you know what weather it's going to be at Christmas time? Well, it's summer in Australia, so we know it's probably going to be pretty warm unless you're in Melbourne, right? So, same as your business. Life operates in cycles, yeah? So you don't know, but historically you can see what you've done that month, last year, year before, whatever it may be, if you've got some history. And then just put that up in the income. Put whatever that is plus 5%, for example, and put that in your income for that month and do the same for each further month. You don't know exactly where it's going to come from, but that's where it is. If you, in your strategic plan, your 1 year plan, if your history last year was an average of 30 grand a month, for example, of income, but your target this year is to get to 35 times 12. 420? Okay. If it's 420 is your target, right? Then put 35K in red in your future income. You don't know how it is. Okay? But is that what you want? Whose business is it? Okay. Who sets the rules? Correct. So, then put 40, okay? But then that sets your RAS, that sets your plan. And so if you're updating that cash flow every week and you're actually reviewing it, okay, mate, you'll see that coming up and you go, shit, what am I doing about it? Who do I need to speak to? What actions from here do you need to put in place? Does that make sense? But if that number that you want next month, the month after, is not there, and you can't see the impact on your cash at bank, because if you hit that 40 next month, next month, and you look at that opening cash balance, it's just going like this, you're going, holy moly, that's awesome. That's exactly what it is, all in one document. Oh, by the way, if people wanted that review, I didn't tell you. Just send it. Oh, actually, no, just send it to me. It's fine. I'll get Lisa to do it. So yeah, my email is trent@teachitforward.com.au. So if you want that 7-step review thing in detail, I'll flick it through to you. No dramas. Does that help answer the question, Rita Majida? Okay, cool.
I think one of the most important things too is when it does come due.
Yeah,
you become a little bit ruthless when you chase it. It's your money.
Absolutely.
You've got to be very disciplined about saying, well, that's when it was due. We made a commitment. We need to follow that up. And like you were saying, sometimes you need to be a little bit more aggressive with how your strategy is around that. If it means downing tools and not going back to the job site until it's paid, then that's what you got to do. People generally have the money, and if you're soft, they will treat you soft. They're paying people every day. It says that you're the soft touch, that they're not going to pay you because you're not screaming loud enough.
So remember that traffic light system? You're the green. You're not going to put them out of business. You're not going to do any damage. So they'll pay you last, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, but at the end of the day I don't use those strategies until I know that we've done all the right things. So often our trading terms are not actually clearly communicated. You think because it's just on your invoice, it's clear. They don't even look at that. You need to verbally announce it. And if you've got installments, you need to put in your proposal or your engagement letter or whatever it is, you need to clearly articulate what the rules of your game are. But you don't. You just assume it. Well, when you get bit in the ass, that's the reason why. You can't then come and get aggressive. Absolutely. That's why if you give 7-day trading terms, okay, we would tend to, like I'll help people write flow charts for their debtors, right? And I'll say, right, what happens after the day late? Just send them an email. Okay, what happens, 3 days before? Okay, let's send them a little text. So let's support them. Just like I did with Alicia on the text, just a quick, gentle, and she goes, oh, great, fantastic. My bookkeeper's now paying the bills like you taught me. She comes in tomorrow. Okay, great. So. Just go to the casino with it. Put it on black.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's one of the most emotional topics, exactly right.
Yeah, it is. It is, that's for sure.
It's a personal relationship.
Questions? No, that's it?
Aaron does.
You
do. You do. What time does the beer start? That's the question.
Open? That's what he wants to know. Let's wrap it up. All right, give him a big round of applause as it's thirsty. Thanks, Trent.
Thanks.